always pronounce that boys that they are. I don't know why. Then the Lord said to him, "This is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I said, I will give it to your descendants. I will have let you see it with your eyes, but you will not cross over into it." This scene is of a 120-year-old Moses, the mouthpiece of God's law, the leader of the Jews, being brought up to a high peak to overlook the lands that he's been ushering the Jews towards for 40 years. It's a moving and intimate scene where God tells Moses he won't get to complete his journey into the land. Soon Moses will die, and this will usher in a change in leadership to the Jewish nation. Joshua, who's that back? This is a moving and intimate scene where God tells Moses he will not get to complete the journey. Soon Moses will die and Joshua will become leader of the Jewish nation. It could have spelled disaster for the Jews, but God had been laying the groundwork ahead of time by cultivating Joshua as a leader and instilling the law of God in his people by repeating it over and over through his leaders again and again. Through this change in so sorry. No reason to be sorry. Through this change in leadership with the Jewish people, we can derive basic principles of how to go through organizational change. Every organization or business will go through leadership change. But how do you successfully navigate a leadership change? But most importantly, how do you navigate a leadership change where you can create an organization where the organization outlasts the leadership? One key to healthy transition in an organization is repeating the vision. Moses first gave the law to the Jewish people on Mount Sinai, and at that very moment, he started repeating the law. And in Deuteronomy, he repeated the law again and again, and he expanded upon it. In fact, Deuteronomy means second law or law repeated. And just like Moses repeated the law to his people, we should repeat the vision of your company, or we should repeat the vision of our company organization to our people over and over. So, why repeat the vision? I'm sure all of you have been part of a project or initiative. I'm sure AT&T has been this. You gather people around, you're excited, you're ready to go, you're pumped, and you see this far off, distant goal, and you're casting a vision for it, you're pumped. And a perfect example of that would be 2015 New Year's resolutions. I'm sure a lot of us have resolutions to lose 20 pounds or read a book a day before breakfast. That's my goal. And say you make it to February. You're doing good, you've changed your habits, you're eating better, you're exercising, you've overachieved and sometimes read 2 books before breakfast. But then you go on vacation, or you get sick, or you start to work a lot of hours. And of course on vacation, the food doesn't count in your diet. Am I really going to read on vacation? Really? Really going to read on vacation? No. Then you get back from vacation, you're still in vacation mode, and you got to get a week to recover. I'll do it tomorrow, and then that turns into next week, and then turns into a month, and then 3 months. And before you know it, you've gained 20 pounds, and the only thing you're reading is the guide on the TV. We've all been there. Hard times will come for your people. And when hard times come for your people, that far off, distant vision that you've made feel so close and attainable will really feel so far away. People will drop out, people will drift, and they'll forget. So continually remind your people of why you're doing what you're doing. You are a caretaker for the vision. You're a steward to that vision. And I know you're asking, I can read everyone's mind. You're asking, what is a vision? A vision, Andy Stanley says, a vision is born out of the soul of a man or woman between the tension of what is and what could be. A vision translates into purpose, something to fix one's eyes upon, a point. Back to Moses, for the Jewish people, the law was God's vision. It was a roadmap for which their lives to follow. The psalmist says it's like a path to walk down, or a lamp by which someone can see to walk. Shine your light on your vision. If you are thinking you're talking too much about your vision, you aren't. Build it into the vocabulary of your culture. I had the opportunity to work at a church for several years, and they hadn't had a youth minister before. It was a small country church, farming community, and my goal when I came in was to create a structure, create a ministry that would outlast myself. And the first year, I recruited leaders around that vision. And by the second year, I started to see and hear something. I started to hear the same words that I had been saying over and over for the last year repeated back to me. I could be talking to Ruck over here, and across the way I would hear someone repeat something that I had taught them and they were teaching someone else. By the third year, we'd take trips, and overnight trips with 70 kids. But I felt like I didn't need to do anything, and there was nothing for me to do because my leaders knew what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It was really cool to see what I was told before that I've heard it takes 3 years to create a culture. I don't know if that's true, but I really saw it play out. My goal was to have that ministry outlast myself. Every business or organization will go through leadership change, but the best organizations manage change on purpose by preparing ahead of time, by filling their people with their vision so that it becomes a part of the fabric of their culture. The best businesses outlast their leaders because they created a culture around their vision. So look up on the mountain, overlook the land. What vision are you creating for your business organization? And are you building it into your people so that it long outlasts yourself?